Back to our earlier story, the Cradock 4 story. We're now joined by Sicelo Mhlauli's widow, Nombuyiselo Mhlauli. Mum Mhlauli, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for speaking to us. How does the reopening of the inquest into the murders of the Cradock 4 impact your family in the quest for justice? I mean, I suppose the first place to start would be just how relieved are you, and what sort of emotions went through you when you heard of the reopening of this inquest?
Hi, Hugo and the listeners. You know what? When I heard about this, my first reaction was that, oh dear me, now we're going to go through again the pain that we've gone through all these other, in the past two inquests. Now the third one might be different from those ones because it's now in the new democratic dispensation. Probably it will bring better news at the end. We're hoping that this one will definitely bring, or give us answers to some of the questions that we're still having. I must tell you that at first when I heard about this, I had to collect myself and put myself in a space where I think I'll be emotionally strong and mentally. But it's so difficult because I keep reflecting back, on those days.
Now, Mum, talk to us about how the spurious delays and the depth of the last known suspect, Herman Baran Duplessis, affected the possibility of prosecution and closure for your family. It's almost, one would feel that it might be too little too late.
Of course, as you are saying, it is already late. Yes, I won't say too little too late. It is late already because even the last culprit died. Nobody said anything. We wanted to hear the perpetrator's perspective and role in the murders. But unfortunately, they are all gone. So this matter has been hanging for so long. We were hoping that the new dispensation will quickly deal with the matter of the Cradock 4 and other families, of course, so that we can get that peace and see justice happening. So justice has been delayed. So it's true that justice delayed, it is denied in a way. So we are not happy about that part because 29 to 30 years is a very long time since they were killed and nothing happened. Because we were hoping that, after the new democratic government, things will come up quickly and prosecutions will take place and the perpetrators will be brought to book, including those that applied for amnesty, that were denied amnesty. They were all scot-free. So we were hoping all the time that these people will be brought to book so that justice can be achieved by the families.
Mum Mhlauli,
but anyway, yes?
Mum Mhlauli, considering the long-awaited development of the reopening of the inquest, what expectations or hopes do you have for the upcoming legal proceedings?
Well, for this inquest, I'm hoping that it will answer many questions that were unanswered by the first and the second inquest. There are specific questions that I have in my mind. Like, for instance, these people were scattered, They were together in a car, but their bodies were scattered, Others were in Blue Water Bay, and the others were in the vicinity of Somerset. It's a distance in between those two places. So I'm asking myself, who was carrying those bodies, those corpses, to put them in those specific spaces? And I'm saying to myself, when I look at the post-mortem results of my husband, I see, his body has got so many stab wounds of different sizes according to the post-mortem results. And I'm saying to myself, definitely, it's not just one person who was attacking or who was stabbing him. And the other thing is, they even cut off his hand. And I'm asking for myself, why did they do that? So those are the questions that we keep asking ourselves, hoping that there's someone who will answer to those questions. But unfortunately, there's no one for now. But I don't know what will come out of the inquest itself. But we're hoping for the best, something that will relieve us, something that will make us feel good and happy at the end. Because we've been struggling throughout these years, emotionally and mentally, the whole family, from the beginning up to now. Because the family has been, dismantled or disintegrated so much, from the very time when they were killed. Children were staying somewhere, I was somewhere else. They joined me later, even when they joined me later in Oudtshoorn. When I had to come back from my leave, it was hard. I'm telling you, it was really hard. Harassment was almost every day. Every day. They will go and knock in the middle of the night. We'll stand there, talk, saying all sorts of things, even throwing swearing words to us. I will stand there, and then in the morning I still have to go to work. In so much that my children knew now, even the sound of their cars when they're coming, they will say, Mama, here they are. Here's Ute, Mama. They are stopping. So it was terrible. I don't know what is it that will really take that pain away of all those years, that harassment. But I'm grateful that there were supportive people around me, especially the community of Bongoletu. My children would call the advice office and say, they've taken my mother. They've taken our mother, and the community will call the lawyers, Dala Oma, Johnny Dilange, and Musa. Those were the lawyers that frequently went to Oudtshoorn. So they will call the police or the special branch and say, release that person. Let that person go to her children. So even my children also developed an attitude to say, when they go away with me, they'll say, you're going to bring my mother back again. They will say it in Xhosa, Nombuyiselo Mhlauli. So those were the hard times that I'm talking about that made me reflect back and think all those things that were so worrisome or said to us.
Now, you talked just now about the stab wounds, multiple stab wounds that were on the body of your husband. What message would you like to convey to the National Prosecuting Authority and Minister Lamula regarding the resolution of outstanding Truth and Reconciliation Commission related cases, such as this one?
Minister Lamula, I'm grateful that he managed to put in place this third inquest. And I've seen that he said maybe questions will be answered. Maybe there are things that we do not know, what we haven't heard about in the first and second inquest. Hopefully that will happen. We are grateful to him for listening at least to the families to say, okay, we would like you to open the inquest again. Though it's quite sad, it's traumatic to go through the inquest because even the first and the second one were not so smooth. They were very traumatic. But at least we're hoping that there'll be questions that will be answered that will give us relief as a family. I spoke to someone who's related to my husband, who is in Kinghamstown. He said, Sisi, I am also not excited as such because this being brings back those sad memories, those sad emotions. So it's quite sad, I must say. But on the other hand, we say thank you to the minister.
Now, finally, looking ahead, before we let you go, what role do you see the Cradock 4 legacy playing in the ongoing struggle for justice and human rights in South Africa?
Well, I think that has played a role in terms of the struggle in South Africa. Like for instance, I'll make an example. My husband, during the course of the year, we were staying in Oudtshoorn, and then during holidays we go back home to Cradock, and during that period, he will attend meetings of the community, discuss with the comrades, assist in setting up the youth organization, and then he will communicate now and again with Matthew over the phone, to such an extent that when we get home, the first thing he does is to go straight to Matthew so that they discuss and give him some information about the developments in the Southern Cape. As a result, they were able to launch the UDF in the Southern Cape. you know. So the role they played in the struggle, I think, is very important. They played an important role. They suffered so much at the end, and their families also suffered at the end. Because for now, for instance, I'm sitting here in Cape Town. My original home is Cradock. We do not have a house in Cradock. We're just here in Cape Town with my children. I wish I can have my own house in Cradock. If he was alive, I think we would have had our own house. I don't have a house there. I'm staying here in Cape Town. And I wish he was alive, you know, so that we can enjoy together these years of retirement.
Ma'am Mhlauli, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for speaking to us. That was Sicelo Mhlauli's widow, Nombuyiselo.